Happy, happy Thursday, fight fans. Welcome back to Algorithm vs. Experts. I'm your MMA Sleepless Sharp. We're going to talk about some fights this week. UFC's back. We have Kai Kara France versus Amir Albazi. Pretty good main event fight. Rest of the card, seen a lot better, but not the worst. There's definitely some good fights to look forward to. We're going to get into this 6-card main event. First, we'll call them the prelims. Going to give you the hidden gems. But first, this time and every time, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit us up during the week. Any other betting info? Details are in the YouTube channel. Email us if you like the picks early. We usually get them out to you Monday or Tuesday if you're betting. We'll give you everything early and during leading up to the week. Once the props come out, we'll start feeding you them too from Thursday on. So you had to beat some lines, make some money, and feel like a bet pro. For not crazy about this, not crazy betting wise about the prelims. Couple things stick out. I think it's Dante Almeida week. If you follow our channel, we are we're non-buyers of Dante Almeida's abilities as a heavyweight fighter in the UFC. We definitely had a max play against him last time. Now he's fighting Andre. Andre just keeps doing it. Keeps coming out there, keeps out voluming guys. Very selective in his fights, which he should be at this point in his career. This Dante Almeida is such a plotter. He's tough to get going. I mean, you just see all his he's just his last couple fights, like he just couldn't beat a guy with like zero MMA experience in Hamdi. And he turned things around eventually in that fight, and then his last fight he just got controlled and owned by Augusto Sakai. I just don't. Can Dante Almeida knock out Andre? Yeah. I mean, it might not take much of this if he chins him once or somehow gets on top of him. Dante Almeida is a tough guy once he gets on top of you. But he's very non-violent. He does make mistakes too. I feel like this is a Andre can just plot around and put on his 15 minutes of 15-minute session. Take him to school for 15 minutes and just out-volume him. I could definitely see that happen. Dante Almeida, he's got action this week. Somehow he's up to minus 150. He's the favorite. After this fight opened up at Pick'em. Definitely love that for Andre. Definitely love any kind of plus money on Andre. Something else that sticks out is people are really backing over 2.5 rounds in this fight. Which, I guess Andre's probably not finishing anyone at this point in his career, nor is he looking to finish anyone. But I don't know. I mean, Dante, it won't take much on the other side for Dante. It's like just anything just to finish this fight. So if that line keeps going up, if it hits over like minus 200, I think under 2.5 rounds might be worth maybe half a unit play. But Andre's definitely worth a play at plus money for 1 unit. Something else that stuck out, I think, Luan Lacerda. Devon Blackshear's he's tough. He's fought some of the better guys, and he's never been finished in the UFC. I just think he's outgunned here in the striking department and the grappling department again. I think Lacerda's worth about 1.5 units as a play. Elise Reed, Jinyu Frey. We're not high on Jinyu Frey. Elise Reed, it looks the the way to beat her is you take her down. Um, for her for her little bit of a run here in MMA, she only had 9. This will be her 10th pro fight. You get her down, and you can hold her down and control her, steal her around, beat her up, or you finish her. Loma Lookboonmee ended up submitted her last fight. Um, for her first submission win. Loma's obviously a striker, but showed some good ground skills. Showed some good ground skills and awareness in that fight. Not the best look for Elise Reed, but it's not the worst. Not the worst loss. I mean, Loma's good. At least she's just out. She was outclassed in that fight, but Jinu Frey, she's gonna. Elise Reed's gonna have. She's gonna be the better striker. She's gonna out volume. She's gonna have more power. She keeps this fight on the feet. She shouldn't have much of a problem getting this win. Junior Frey just got knocked out by someone who never knocks anyone out, Polyana Viana. So I think under 2.5 rounds in this fight too. It's really high. I think Elise Reed's worth a bet, and I think the under 2.5 rounds is worth a bet as well. Um, if Jinu Frey somehow gets takedowns, like maybe she falls into him, or she gets him like she got against Gloria DePaul, maybe she can get a win. Maybe she can get a finish as well. Submission win on the ground. So I think the price is right for those flights that not go the distance. It is MMA. As things happen, it's hard to it's hard to go off. It's hard to go all 15 minutes most of the time. 6 fight main card kicks off. J.M. Malarkey getting a late opponent. I didn't have much time to handicap this. Muhammad John Naimov stepping in on 4 days to fight J.M. Malarkey. Malarkey's pretty sizable favorite, minus 500. Don't really have much betting wise. I guess Malarkey, if you want to stick him in a parlay, maybe minus 500. He should get the win. Don't really have much of a. Definitely wouldn't recommend staying away from this fight from a betting perspective, but you can use Malarkey if you want to try to build a parlay. He should be able to get the win. Next fight should be pretty good. Karine Silva, Ketlin Souza. Yeah, Karine Silva. She was impressive in her debut. Yeah, got a good win, good finish victory. We did call that on our channel, and we said the finishing method by submission. She's very aggressive. From what I've seen of her opponent likes to kickbox as well. She might be the more well-rounded striker in the fight. I I think she's gonna need a pop shot and get away though, um, for 15 minutes and then outpoint Silva. I don't think she has much offer in the power department, whereas Silva her nickname is Killer. She really does hit hard, and she's always looking to get the fight to the mat. She shines really looking to get subs. So Silva's, I don't think her wrestling's the greatest. Her takedowns are the greatest, but she might only need she might only need one to finish the fight. She might only need one in separate rounds to just really dominate and steal the round, um, which might not which might be attainable. Um, so I'll take Silva. I'm not really confident in it. I'm not betting this fight. I don't have any bets on this fight as of now, but I do think Silva will win this fight. Um, Submission prop is always live. I think with her, it looks like it opened up plus 300 on FanDuel. I think that's pretty solid since considering the hype. Let me see. Really good record, 15-4. Hasn't been out in a while, but we saw her thing. Yeah, I mean, she's just, man, she is all, look at her submissions. One, two, three. Her last 4 wins are all via submission against girls with winning records and girls that are pro fighters. Polyana Patelia, like, she's just there. Um, she's submitting girls her whole career. Yeah, I think that's there. Plus three, I think it's plus 300. Rather than lay chalk, which means lay the favorite, rather than lay like minus 150 on Karine Silva, double chance win by finish, or maybe just that submission prop, if you're gonna bet it, but don't recommend it as a great betting angle. Tim Elliott, Victor Altamirano. Yeah, this is a. I mean, this is we get to these now. We get to these last four fights. I mean, this is a fun. Tim Elliott's always fun. Tim Elliott throws. Tim Elliott's always ready to throw heat. Um, he's facing. He's facing a. He's facing a really talented young fighter. Man, he's also going to be at a 4-inch reach disadvantage. Um, it's not. But Tim Elliott, as we saw, I mean, he's 2 out of his last 3 fights. I mean, he's somehow, crafty veteran. He's done crafty veteran things, and he's got wins. Even fought Mateus Nicolau. He won around in that fight before slowing down a little bit and losing, but he's won 3 out of his last 4 still, and he does a really good job of getting his opponent to fight the fight he wants. It's really hard. It's been really hard still at Tim Elliott's. He's pushing at 37 years old. Like, I'm not a big believer in the age thing. I think guys are training year round and committed, and I think they're still. I'm not. I don't think that's old by any means. To win a fight or win 2 fights a year. Um, does he probably have everything he had 5 years ago? No. But still, he's won 3 of his last 4 fights, and yeah, this is a matchup where a guy who's only had, I think, 3. Yeah, he had a split decision win on Contender Series, and then he had his 3 UFC fights. Yeah, he's also 12-2 overall, but he's definitely stepping up here and fighting a veteran. Winningest angle we talk about on this channel is when a veteran UFC fighter is going to get a young, unproven hotshot or young gunner who is severely stepping up a competition. I don't know if this is a severe step up in competition for Victor in this fight, but it's definitely a step up in experience. Even if they're evenly matched, like Tim Elliott, like we just talked about, never gets blown out. He's always in the fight. He's always doing something, and before you know it, you're either down a round or you're losing the fight, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta step on the gas pedal and catch up to this guy." Can definitely see that happening here. Am I that super confident in it to lay a bet on it as of now? No, but it should be a really fun fight. I mean, Tim Elliott, he's always alive, so yeah, small underdog. You can back Tim Elliott. I mean, no shame in that. Next fight, Jim Miller, Jared Flash Gordon. So what to make of Jared Gordon? Definitely backed him. Had bets on him to beat Patty. Questionable decision, but we got to move on from that. Um, Patty got the win, and not much else. Not much else we can do. Not much else to talk about that fight except Jared Gordon looked good. He pushed the pace. His boxing's gotten a lot better. He reps John Danaher as his jiu-jitsu coach, so he's got that Danaher game, which is the best in the game. But what we've seen is he likes to push that volume. His boxing, his counter striking has gotten a lot better. Makes up for his lack of his wrestling's not the best, but he doesn't need much takedowns. When he does, he's able to get great control. Wasn't Bobby against Bobby Green? I thought that was a terrible matchup for Jared. As Bobby Green is extremely slick, he's very quick, and when he doesn't want to get taken down, he's I mean, he's tough. Bobby Green's just tough. I mean, if you're not Islam Makhachev, not many people are taking down Bobby Green and controlling him. Fight accidental headbutt, so he scored a draw. That was That was about 2 months ago, right? Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Jesus, accidental headbutt. So, I mean, he's coming back off that. A headbutt knockout. I don't know if that's unsure how he is. How's his chin? How's his head going to be? Because Jim Miller's still Jim Miller's a Jim Miller's a grizzled veteran, like we just mentioned. So Jared Gordon's got a lot of fights. So he did step up to fight Bobby Green last time, who's also a veteran. He's fought other guys though with fought other guys with a lot of fights. So, but now he's stepping up. Jim Miller. Jim Miller still looks good. I mean, Jim Miller still looks good to me. I mean, he's tough. He's still taking fights. He's still winning fights. He's won 3 out of his last 4 too. But I think he's got some finishes. Yeah, he finished. Yeah, he had some good finished. Eric Gonzalez, who I guess everyone finished, but still, he finished Eric Gonzalez, finished Nick Moda, stuff, and he got the Cowboy with that. Cowboy ended up slipping a bit in this fight, and Jim Miller jumped right on a really good guillotine and locked it in. Um, lost lost his two losses. Yeah, Joe Selecki and Alexander Hernandez. Like, so younger guys that were able to just push pace and outpace him, but Jim Miller didn't go away. Jim Miller stayed. He stayed in that last fight, and he threw heat back. The Selecki loss kind of got owned a little bit. He got taken down, and he just at this point he doesn't offer. It didn't look like he wants to offer much off his back. Um, in that fight against Selecki, his other fights in between there were mostly stand up, where he got finished, he got KO TKO, or he jumped on a guillotine. So he didn't spend any time on bottom in that fight. I didn't see him look to wrestle much against his last fight, um, which was a competitive loss. Gordon's going to look to push against Miller, so Miller does have that counter. Um, yeah, I mean Miller could be live here for a KO. Based on he's showing that finishing ability. He does have good counter. He does have power, good counter punches. I mean, his submissions are some of the best in the game. I mean, he's been fighting for a long time, and um, I know his jiu-jitsu and everything is for MMA especially is like top notch. Like people seek him out. As far as just like people talk about, there's guys that are really good at jiu-jitsu, but then there's a difference. There's like what is MMA jiu-jitsu? Just certain things in jiu-jitsu where especially where you're wearing a gi and they just don't translate well into MMA. Um, Glover maybe is another guy that talked about that. Like I have the best MMA jiu-jitsu. Like there's just keeping it simple. Things that present themselves in an MMA fight that you you don't that normally you would transition to something else in a grappling tournament. But Jim Miller is he's pretty elite at that. Jared Gordon should have answers for that, and should be able to handle that. If Jared Gordon gets this, if his chin's good, with the pace he likes to push, hard to not see him melting Jim Miller, just like Miller's last fight. Miller's last fight was 2 months ago, so he's coming back off that too, and that was a competitive loss, but he took damage in that fight as well. Um, yeah, so think I do like Gordon here. I bet two units on him minus 180. I don't like the lay favorites that much, especially over minus 150 in MMA. But I do think Gordon, who's in his career, he's pretty tough. He doesn't have a ton of finish losses. He got submitted by Grant Dawson, which is scary because Grant Dawson is a excellent grappler. He's an excellent wrestler as well before he's a grappler, whereas Jim Miller is more of an excellent submission artist. He's not an excellent wrestler. If Jim Miller tries to push a wrestle heavy pace, he's going to gas quicker. So I think Jared Gordon, um, if he doesn't, maybe Jim Miller. I think Jim Miller might be live and for round one. Jim Miller round one prop I think is worth maybe like a quarter unit or a small bet, but I think it's you can back that up with I don't think Jim Miller can finish Jared Gordon in the second round or third round. I think Jared Gordon turns it on, and I think he gets a wide decision victory here. Co-main event. Um, so the hot take on this, we also recommend Professor Violence, who is can't join the show today. Um, his bet of the week is on Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres. And he was the guy, he gave you Daniel Pineda his last fight as an upset underdog. Pineda was alive, and Pineda got that. He did get that submission win against Tucker Lutz. He guillotined him. Daniel Pineda is a guy who's always 28-14 overall. He's an excellent first round fighter. Daniel Pineda round one is always fucking live. That dude just bangs in the first round. He's a problem anywhere. He's a problem off his back. He's a problem standing up. He's just coming out and trying to finish you. Alex Caceres is a little plottier. He doesn't come out. He doesn't come out and just try to get you out of there. He's more of a calculated fighter than that. But he's been streaking lately. I mean, he's put things together later in his career. He's really put some stuff, and he's won. He had that 4-fight winning streak. He beat underdog Chase Hooper decisions, Austin Springer submission, Kevin Kroom submitted Sungwoo Choi, which he was also a big underdog there, and then he went in against Super Sadiq, lost a unanimous decision. Okay, and then he came back and he knocked out KO Julian Erosa again. Like Alex Caceres is a really profitable guy the past like 3 years. He's always the underdog, and you just keep betting him. He's going to be the favorite here, slight favorite, minus 180. And totally fine with that. Totally fine with this line, actually. Because I think the line is right where it should be. If Caceres survives the first round, he should be able to take over the fight. As we've seen, Pineda is a different fighter. After the first round, he's an amazing first round fighter. On our last fight breakdown, I think Jared Gordon is going to sort of melt and push the pace and get the better Jim Miller and just kind of take the fight out of him. Daniel Pineda just kind of loses the fight. Like the fight is going. He wants to get you out of there, or it's no longer there. So Alex Caceres, his style sets up for his style well, because he will be able to start out striking, out voluming. If he gets his takedowns, he's got an excellent grappling, excellent back control once he gets you, and excellent submissions once he gets your control of you. He doesn't really let go, and he usually wins rounds. He's not sloppy. So we got Alex Caceres 1 unit bet. He should have the edge. Alex Caceres, I would say Pineda is always round live one, but Alex Caceres doesn't lose in round one. He doesn't have many round one losses, so I think you would need to get maybe like plus 500 or better, which you won't get for Pineda to win in round one, just to make that worth maybe a quarter bet. If you're going to bet Caceres for a unit and then throw a quarter unit on Pineda, but yeah, that's if you see it, maybe see it out there, maybe it's worth it. Main event is a great fight. Kai Kara France, always fun to watch. Amir Albazi. A lot of people are high on Amir. Yeah, the Prince, 16-1, stepping up. So this line opened up I saw this line come out like 2 weeks ago, and immediately I saw Amir Albazi was like minus 160. To me, I really right away thought like, what the fuck? Like this guy's stepping up. This is a big step up in competition and experience. And like we talked about, what's the most winningest angle in betting MMA, especially UFC? Young guys, Amir Albazi, people are high on him, and now he's stepping up against a guy was just in a title fight and was doing okay, and he got caught by the current champ and great fighter, Brandon Moreno. Yeah, Amir Albazi. So he's stepping up. I mean, yeah, he's 16-1, and he's been impressive. He's been a huge favorite. 4 UFC fights. Okay, I mean, you submit Melvin Gordon. Okay, a lot of people beat a lot of people do that. To Malcolm Gordon, um, unanimous decision over Zalgas, who's, we respect as a tough guy, but doesn't get many wins. Francisco Figueiredo, rear naked choke, and he knocked out Alessandro Costa, which I think we called that too last coming. So he's finishing guys. Um, man, that does that does that does put a little sting a little sting in my decision making, as Kai Kara France isn't the most durable guy. Like he can be finished. He's been finished in a good amount of his losses. Um, Albazi's going to try to push that. He's going to push. He's going to push. He's pushing a fast pace. If he wants to try to grapple, which he's shown he can do, and he can wrestle, it's a different type of different. Is it a different type of wrestling grappling than he faced though against? He gave his first career loss to Askar Askarov. I mean, Askar Askarov is an incredible wrestling grappler. So I don't know. It could be more. If it is different, it's going to be more freestyle, which tends to get more tired. And I mean, if Kai France did well and didn't get submitted with Askar Askarov having his back and getting down, I I think he'll be okay and get back to his feet against Albazi. And then if the fight takes place on the feet, Amir Albazi, yeah, he's good. Shown good, but he's stepping up here. I mean, Kai France can put you out too. Yeah, he came back, nice wins, knocked out guy Bontarine, Cody Garbrandt, like just finished him clean. Was doing okay against doing okay against Marino. I'm pretty sure they split rounds, then he got finished in round three. But yeah, I mean, I think I think the line was just ridiculous, and now, so I jumped on the plus 140 with Kai Kara France like 2 weeks ago, and that line is evened out now where it's a pick'em fight. I think pick'em is where it should be. Maybe KKF minus 130 as Albazi. Can he win the fight? Sure. Do I recommend betting it right now with this line? No, I don't. Um, I would say I don't think there's much value in it. I think the value's all gone in the pre-match, the pre-game line. If anything, the opener, if you if you're gonna jump on anything, you would jump on Albazi because you're beating the opening line. But I I don't I wouldn't recommend that. I think under 3.5 rounds for a 5 round fight. That's a pretty low opening total. It's usually, if you're elite heavyweights, then maybe it'll be like 1.5 or such. Usually for flyweights and below, like they favor to go the distance 4.5. So that tells me that someone might be getting finished in this fight. So maybe under 3.5 rounds might be worth a bet. Or if you want to back a guy, maybe back and win my finish. Um, Back and win my finish, and maybe we should see a lot of violence in that fight. There should be a lot of action, but I think KKF has, not that I just bet him. It's a great play from a betting perspective just to have the best line, but I do think he does what veterans do, and I think he outclasses Albazi. But yeah, if you think Albazi is going to own him, then you're getting a really good line. Bet Albazi maybe to win by finish. Yeah, all right. That's all we got for this week. UFC Fight Night, KKF versus Albazi. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. This time and every time. We love you. Any questions, please hit us up. Go to the channel on YouTube, email us, and if you're interested in getting our picks and getting them out early in the week or sometimes 2 weeks in advance, yeah, get in contact with us. We'll work something out. All right. Talk soon.